Got it. Start video. There you go. All right. Hi, everybody. How are you? I pardon for being a little late. I'm going Facebook Live now as well. 28 people in a room. That's great. And I see everybody in there. All right. Again, welcome. Just go over some of the ground rules as we say, because we can't have everybody talking at once. Everybody is muted right now, and there is ways to get involved. You can send a message to the chat bar on the lower right. You have to go to the bottom, hit the chat. But more importantly, if you go to those three dots down at the bottom right, there is the ability to raise your hand, and that should flag all. So with that said, all right, I see Atoya's on there and Dave, and got a great deal. All right. This is interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and start and call this to order. First order of business is, let's see, hi, Michael Candewall.
Hi there.
Okay, first order of business is to approve the minutes. Barbara sent them out by email.
Give me a minute. You won't be able to see all this on your phone.
Okay. Yeah, let me see. Hold it. I got allow participant.
Okay.
I got people talking. Hold on. Let me see. How come people are talking? And I got everybody on mute.
No, I want to call.
That's why it's reverted because everybody's not on mute.
Mute all. All right. Hopefully that catches everybody. Well, as I said, assuming that does everybody find that those three dots down at the bottom where you can raise your hand? Can I get a test on that? Okay, I see Randy's done it. Carolyn's done it. Yep. All right. It looks like we're getting there. Great. So go ahead and raise, pull them down, whatever I want to call it.
It's called lower hand.
Hey, Atoy. All right. So again, the meetings the minutes were sent out last night. Hopefully people have read them. If you have anything to object to, raise your hand or send me a quick message right now. If not, we will approve them by acclamation. And I am looking, no messages, so we'll consider them done. I don't see where to raise the hand. Michael Candewall. There is three dots in the bottom corner of the screen, and you hit those three dots and you'll have some different options to mute, unmute, but you'll see raise hand. So hopefully you will see those shortly. So again, no objections. Camille. All right. Next thing we're doing is the minutes, and I have the minutes here. Bingo, and let me share that screen.
Oh,
I'm struggling here, but we're going to get it done.
I'm on call.
There we go. All right, share the screen. And boom. There you go. Hopefully everybody sees Grant's Treasurer's Report there. Not a lot of activity. Our beginning balance of 92.54. We had memberships and things, 646. We had 144 in expenditures, which were, most of it was our annual post office box and some of the things we did for Engage Norfolk. So with that, Let me get back over there and end my share screen.
Charlie,
Yes,
we can't see it.
it didn't share?
Nope.
Well, all right. Then doing what I said verbally, you know, we had a beginning balance 646.84 in deposits, 144 in withdrawals, which were the PO box, and some engaged Norfolk, 151 in change, leaving us a balance of 97.56.95. So. If there are no, let me see, I'm still raise hand, peers and right, click participants. So with that said, if there's no objections, we'd like to approve the treasurer's report by going ahead and raising that hand.
Yeah, I'd do that if I could find it again.
Okay, well, you're all right. I tell you what I'm going to do here. I have unmuted everybody. If there are any objections to it, raise your objection not now, or we'll call it by acclamation. Anybody object to the treasurer's report? All right, hearing none, we will accept the treasurer's report. All right, Vice Chair Atoy, you have anything you need to contribute right now as a Vice Chair report?
Charlie, you gotta mute everybody again.
I thought I did.
Okay.
Okay, everybody's muted again, except now I have to unmute Atoy. Atoy, if you have anything, you can offer up here. Did I lose you, Atoy? Hi, Bob Baxter. You're on here. Tim, Barbara, Camille, Ryan. Did we lose you, Atoy? I don't see Atoy on here. All right. Atoy must have dropped off somehow. She's not on here, which is why she's not talking. Next thing, we have a new members report. And wow, since that screen share didn't work on the treasurer's report, I will offer this up here. The board has approved some new members. Hi, Facebook Live. One of those, welcome back, Larry Keefe, has offered his services as precinct captain at Wesley again. And we unanimously, well, these are all unanimous selections. So we are offering Larry for voting in tonight. Next, we have an assistant precinct captain, Deborah Brown from Compostela, has stepped forward. We are recommending that. We have 5 at-large people that we are recommending. Rahman Fatahi, Scott Harris, Bill Kessling, and Blythe Scott and Simon Scott. And then we have 11 associate members we would like to have approved tonight. Tracy Clark, longstanding member, Councilwoman Courtney Doyle, Jason Inge, Diane Kaufman, I heard of her somewhere, Tom Reel, Marilyn Schlutter, Jim Stotts, Martin Thomas from City Council, Janet Thornton and Jeff Thornton, and Bob Baxter's, you know Glenda Warner pretty well, I think. So again, those are the participants, or those are those we are offering to be approved. And I'm going to do the whole thing here. I'm going to unmute everybody, and if there's any objections, speak up. Anybody have any problems with that slate that we have offered, from Larry Keefe down to Glenda Warner?
Charlie, did you get me? I'm Ruth. Can you see me?
Hi, Ruth. I see Ruth's name. Barbara's?
Okay.
Hey, Charlie.
Yes.
If people are using a computer and not a phone, the way to see the raise hand, lower hand thing is on the bottom there to click on participants. And then that shows you the list of participants, and below that says raise hand.
Okay, so a desktop user has to go over to the participants button. Okay. All right, well, I have everybody unmuted here and not a lot of cross-talking. Thank you very much. So again, hi, Scott Harris, you're in, hopefully about to get voted in. Were there any objections to that slate?
No.
All right, hearing none, we are approving that membership slate. Thank you very much. And back to muting everybody for right now. All right, next order of business. Voter registration. Is Betty on the call? I don't see Betty on here. Hey, Phil Hernandez, you need to come back to one of our meetings. I see Phil is on the Facebook Live feed. So, all right, nothing from voter registration right now. So then we will go into old business. I will say this, we are still actively trying to put our committee leadership team together. We still have some openings. I have some people we need to interview for communications that have stepped forward. Still looking for a finance chair. We need a membership chair, and I might be missing one. So again, when we are together as a group, if you have any interest in stepping forward in one of these leadership positions for the committee, we'd like to talk to you about it. So maybe we will send out an email to the committee. Let's let everybody know what those openings are. So moving on to then old business. I presented at the last face-to-face meeting. I put up there the map of the redo of our area chairs. We went from 5, if you recall, to 6. That gave all of our area chairs 8 precincts, a little bit more manageable. What we did not do is get an approval on that. And we would like to approve Kim Brown, Larry Brown, Kerry Buchanan, Bob Baxter, and Nick Jones as our 5 of our 6 area chairs. And as Barbara pointed out to me, until Tony Wagaman actually gives us the form, which he hasn't done, we can't vote at him. So what I would also therefore then like to do is, if there's no problem with that, I would like to approve 5 of those 6 area chairs, and we'll hit up Tony for his form and get him approved at the next meeting. So, unmuting everybody. All participants are unmuted. Is there any problem with that new area chair plan that we put up last meeting?
No.
All right, hearing no objections, thank you very much, and welcome officially our area chairs. And I will, this is an opportunity to say this, even though they weren't officially moved, voted in, they helped quite a bit. I think it was pretty successful. Our program on primary day, the sample ballots were a hit. A lot of people really, really appreciated the real-time information of who was still running, who was not. And I think a lot of the people that came to our breakfast, or several of the people came to our breakfast, came based on that introduction we had on the flip side of the sample ballot. So to all the area chairs, and more importantly, all the precinct captains and all the people who work on primary day, we got a lot of new emails we captured, and we are going to try and build that grassroots army for a blowout election in November. So that is what we're doing, and we continue to move forward. Area chairs are going to be reaching out to the precincts that don't have captains, so we can get all of our precincts with a captain, assistant captain, down to the block captains, so we can be first rate. All right, thank you for approving that. The only other old business I have, that's a lovely picture from somebody there.
That's
Hey, Tim.
that's me.
But
Sorry,
that's
I
okay.
shifted around.
Hey,
And
hey, we are learning on the fly here. I'm still trying to figure some of this stuff out. The only other old business, I think we're going to have, we iron out some details. I think Miss Easton at Amazing Soul Food was off the chart. She may have spoiled us with that menu. I mean, the shrimp and grits and the fish and all that. I don't know if that's going to be a sample or a staple as we go forward, but we did some after action reports to fix up some of the problems we had. But as far as the venue goes and the food, I think it's a huge success. I think we found a great home, and I'm 99.99% sure we will not have a breakfast in April. I think we're still going to be under quarantine here. So hopefully in May we'll be back at Amazing Soul Food with a wonderful breakfast and over 100 people again. So well done to all the search committee that went into finding that. And again, thanks to Mrs. Easton and the folks at Amazing. It was off the chart. All right, now new business. We have some a couple of critical things we have to do here now, and that is Barbara sent out the call to caucus and the caucus rules. And again, I'm really disappointed in this share screen stuff because I had some wonderful stuff to share on the screen. But just so that folks are not aware, this call to caucus is the first step heading towards Milwaukee and the National Convention. We had our primary back on March 3rd. Based on those results, it allotted how many delegates at congressional district conventions are going to go to Milwaukee. For instance, in our second congressional district, there is going to be 5 national delegates that will be selected at the second congressional district convention, 3 male and 2 female. And at the third congressional district convention, there will be 7 delegates selected, 4 female and 3 males. And the process by which we do that is we have to first have our Norfolk unassembled caucus, Academy of Lakewood. We're doing that on Saturday at noon on April 18th. Again, assuming schools will be available and all that. All this is COVID-19 subject to change, I suppose. But we're going to hold an unassembled caucus from noon to 4. You can go to our website and download if you wish to file to be a delegate to the second or the third district convention, you have to submit the paperwork to Barbara Clear or myself. We have to have that in by April 9th. Barbara, I have to have that document in hand if you wish to file to be a delegate. And then the unassembled caucus, we will vote actually on who will go to those district conventions. If history is a judge, oftentimes we don't get a full slate, but I will tell you this, Norfolk has been allocated 41 slots to the third congressional district convention and 10 alternates. Hey, Ruth. And in the second congressional district, we will have 17 delegates and 4 alternates. So if you want to be one of those delegates, pull down the form, get it to me and Barbara, and then the unassembled caucus is anybody who's a registered voter in Norfolk will come to actually vote on who those delegates will be. If we have 41 or fewer in the third, or 17 or fewer in the second, we'll call it off. Those people that filed are selected. We will actually only go forward with the unassembled caucus if we have more people who have filed to be delegates, and therefore then we have to vote to choose them.
Right, Charlie,
Yes.
don't forget that only Biden supporters and Bernie Sanders supporters are viable. They're
Correct.
the only ones that got 15%.
Right.
So in Norfolk, for instance, for second district, there are 12 Biden and 5 Bernie. So it's broken up that way.
Right. Right. And I think we don't have this official. Barbara did her super secret delegate calculator, and her best guess, it hasn't come in, is in the third. We'll probably have 29 Biden and 12 Bernie. If that's not exact, it's going to be awfully close. And then 7-3 on the 10 alternates. So you file as a Biden or a Sanders delegate, and we'll go from there. Any questions? How confusing did I make it here?
Oh, Charlie,
Yes, Tim.
do those forms need to be put in person, or can they be sent to you electronically?
They can be sent by email.
Yeah, electronic. They have to be in hand. So if you mail it on the 9th, that's going to be too late. It has to be in hand. So yeah, mailing it to us, and our addresses are in the caucus information. Again, we won't have a breakfast, so that's not going to work. So again, we'll reinforce that electronically with an email. Get it in my hands or Barbara's hand. We'll give you her address, our address to mail it. And yes, if you can scan it, we'll take it as scanned email, whatever method it is.
Charlie.
And Charlie, to let everybody know, I want to thank everybody for responding to our voting email that went out. We got a majority, well over majority vote from the voting members to approve the call to caucus and the caucus rules, because we did not know if we were going to be able to hold this meeting or not.
Yeah, and this has been, yeah, and thank you, because we got a great committee and we got great people. So that's great. So again, if there are no questions, it's basically been approved via email response. But just because I like this thing, I want to go ahead, if we can get a motion to approve the call to caucus and the caucus rules.
So moved.
All right, Tim Rothgeb, and a second.
Second.
Michael Kandawal, and all those that are in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
And it's going to be a lot easier. Is there anyone opposed? The silence is great. Hey, Scott Harris, how you doing? Congratulations on getting elected in tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's see, where'd my, there we go. All right, we have one other thing we want to present to be approved tonight, to go forward to be voted on at our next meeting. We want to make a slight change in the bylaws. Couple of things. We actually, on the executive board, we put together a bylaws committee, Dave and Larry and Nick and some others. We're going to do a total look at our current bylaws to see if they need to be brought up to date, if there are some things that are no longer relevant or what have you. So we may down the road have some more significant changes down the road. But this one, just to bring to your attention, we wanted to move, we have standing committees, which are members, voting members of the executive board, and then at the discretion of the chair, which we vote in, then at the discretion of the chair, there are ad hoc committees that we can put together and assign for their roles. And voter registration in the bylaws was always an ad hoc position. And we kind of thought with the work that Betty does and the importance of the voter registration role, we wanted to elevate that from ad hoc and put it into our standing committee regimen and then part of the voting executive board. So Barbara, again, we're presenting it here. Do we actually have to get it approved to go forward to the next meeting, or what
Yes.
exactly was?
Any bylaws changes are presented at one meeting and then voted on at the next meeting.
All
So
right.
what we may do because who knows what's happening in April, we may have another email vote, because right now with this free Zoom application we have, it's really hard to count a vote
Right.
unless we go and get the paid version, and then we can actually do a vote. So we will replicate what we did with the call to caucus and send an email out to every member and just ask them to respond by email. I think that in this,
Okay.
by virtue of the fact that we're in a state of emergency, I
Yeah.
think that would be an acceptable way of voting.
Okay. Yeah, needless to say, we are, every day is a new adventure as to what we're going to do. But yeah, so we may do that. So consider it presented. I don't know if there's much discussion, if any of this makes sense, if people don't think voter registration is important enough to be elevated. But I think I got a Mike Conwell thumbs up. And does anybody think that this is a bad idea as far as the presentation comes tonight?
I do not.
Okay, yeah, it's great. You know, voter registration, my God, that's almost in one of our charter responsibilities as a committee, is to find Democrats, make sure they're registered and get them to vote. So, all right, so it'll be voted on in some way, shape, or form at our April meeting. So this is going faster because there wasn't anything on there. So again, this was an abbreviated version. I'm 30 minutes into our 40-minute time allotment, which is basically almost right on it. Is there anybody that has something they want to offer? All
Charlie?
Right. Okay, yeah.
I don't know if Michael Candewall is unmuted or not, but I would like for him to give electoral board report, or I can, about how critical it is that you vote absentee for the May election.
Okay,
Yes,
Michael.
yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can, Mike.
Great. So it's very critical, as Barbara says, that everyone vote absentee for the May election, and you don't have to. What you can register for the absentee ballot. You can online. It's a very easy way to do that. And the reason you would give is just 2A, if that's listed as 2A, or just illness, because the state elections board and office has said that this is a valid excuse because of the pandemic. So it will make it a lot easier to vote. Think of it as vote by mail. So the office will send you a ballot, and then you just fill it out, and you fill out the little absentee envelope, and you send it back in. It will relieve stress on the precincts. We're still discussing how to run an election during a pandemic. So one thing also, if you for some reason need to vote in person, we're going to have a drive up at the city hall on the little new circle they built there off of St. Paul's. But again, that's only if you need to do that in person. It's much easier to do it by mail. We would appreciate you doing it by mail.
Okay. We will send that information out to everyone, and we'll try and make it a source and get that done. And I think we're down about 8 minutes before this thing just shuts off like that. So anybody else have something they want to offer? Hi, Rita.
I have a question for Michael.
Yes.
I've heard about no excuse absentee. I thought that was approved by the legislature. But...
Yeah, so that does not start until the November election.
Okay.
And the legislature right now is also making changes to that. And of course, I believe that there's a possibility that they might have another session somehow to clarify some things because of the current situation. But as it's written now, there'll be no excuse absentee before the November election. But right now, we're also saying that for this election in May, it's basically no excuse. Everyone just checks illness 2A, and then you can vote absentee by mail.
Yeah,
Okay.
most laws that pass the General Assembly don't go into effect until July 1st. So this is an exception to a. So we'll go ahead and get that information and try and drive people to do exactly that, Michael and Barbara.
And one more thing, Charlie, I just sent a chat link to everybody on the chat if you are part of that chat. But Charlie, maybe you could email it out to people too. That is a brand new thing the city of Norfolk is doing to show you what businesses are open and closed or have modified hours.
Okay, yeah, down on the bottom of the chat, ARCG link.
I've got it.
Yep. Very good. We'll send that out. All right, we're down to probably 6 or 7 minutes of our free time. Anybody else? Hi, Deborah Brown.
Hi.
Hey, Charlie, can you hear me? Are you going to send out information to the precinct captains with more details as far as what to do in that?
We can certainly do that, sure.
Well, there's no role for the precinct captains in the May election because it's nonpartisan.
Right.
Okay.
And I mean, we could certainly have people standing out there, but right now I don't know how prudent that will be. And also there's a June primary on June the 9th, but that is Republican only.
Right.
So don't even think about it.
Right.
Thank you.
And
one comment about the May election, and of course this all depends on pandemic situation, but since we were very successful in getting volunteers signed up this past, whenever it was the March 3rd, it might be wise, even though it's nonpartisan, to have someone out there at least taking names for people who'd be willing to volunteer.
Yeah, I mean, we can try that again. Yeah,
it's a good place to run into voters.
All right, and I do have to say this. Unfortunately, I don't have my power charger, my other computer here. If Facebook Live goes out here in a minute, it's because I have no power and cord. So just thought I'd give you a heads up. But we're just about done here. Like I said, we're going to be knocked off here in a minute or two. An interesting concept. Hey, Larry, what's up, LB? So anything else? You got anything out, Larry?
No.
What's up? So anybody else? Michael?
Yes, I'm just sending on the chat a link to request an absentee ballot online.
Yep, we've got that captured as well.
Good.
Awesome.
And one of the young ladies that is on the call here, Rena Hicks, like I said, we're going to try and reel you in and seduce you into getting active in the committee. She is, what, Kelly Fowler's LA?
Yeah, Kelly Converse Fowler's LA.
There you go. Well, we need, believe it or not, we're not all this new technology. We had to crawl and over broken glass to try and make this work. And even after that, it hasn't been quite what I was hoping to get done. But I'd like to get some young blood into the committee. So please get active and involved.
Thank you.
Anything else? Well, this wasn't as painful as I thought it was going to be. We had some hiccups, but it's all done. Again, got anything else? Anybody?
So are we all going to quads?
I was wondering who was going to raise that. I figured, I didn't know if Peggy Scott was on the call, or I thought for sure she would say, we'll meet you in quads afterwards.
We're going to order carry out.
But no, yeah, carry out.
Carry out drinks.
I'll just say this, you're on your own as to how much violation. Maybe only 10 of us could go. So, anyway. All right. Thanks, everybody. And be in touch. And thanks, hey, and, Dave and Barbara.
Thanks, Charlie. Great job.
Well, hey, Dave, there you are. I didn't even go to you. I didn't even go to Dave to see if there was any resolutions, which there weren't and never will be, right? So,
Never say never.
Never say never. And Dave, you were great at Willard on May 3rd or March 3rd. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charlie.
And see who else is up here. this could just instantaneously shut down, so I didn't cut you off. There you go. The Scott. Ooh, I like that. The Scots, plural. So Glenda's on here. Hey, Shadana, I got to talk to you about some of the things. Grant, Ruth. All right, that's pretty cool. Eileen, we're going to get an update when we go live with speakers again. We are going to get a presentation from you on wind and all the exciting things that are happening. So you and the Sierra Club will be soon making a presentation, hopefully in May. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, this was okay, and we'll go from that. So with that, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
seconded. We are done.
I'm
Thanks,
sorry, I
Troy.
was muted. I lost my normal function of so moved.
Oh, there you go. Well, you know what, Barbara? Make it Tim on the so move.
Seconded still.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Facebook
You're
Live.
welcome.
And I guess I'm going to now put this up on our Norfolk City Committee YouTube channel. So we are trying. All right. Thanks. See ya.
All right, see you, Charlie. Take care. Bye-bye.
Nah, because that's open. This door we can lock.
Yeah, that's true.